In this week's Torah portion, Parshat Metzora, we read about how, in chapter 14, verse 34, that when the Israelites come into the land, God says, "I will inflict upon you plagues upon your homes." The response to the plague upon the home, which is kind of like a mold, is that the Israelites must seek a priest, go through a purification ritual, and barring the success of that purification ritual, they must tear down the walls of that home and remove the stones to a place outside of the village. The rabbis look at this and they're puzzled and they're troubled because they don't understand why it is that when the Israelites come into the land of Canaan that God has promised to them, that God will inflict these plagues upon their homes. In the biblical eye, these plagues are punishments, and the rabbis are puzzled by the fact that the Israelites seem to be predestined to sin and therefore need punishment. What kind of benevolent God assumes the sins of the God's people? And so the rabbis come up with a lovely midrash, and they say that when the Canaanites saw the Israelites coming through the wilderness, they thought that they should hide their treasures so that the Israelites couldn't get them. And so they hid them in the walls of their homes. And so when the Torah portion talks here about the homes being afflicted with these plagues and mold-like things, and the need to tear down the walls, this is actually not seen as something that is bad for the Israelites, but something that is good. Because when they tear down the walls, they will find all the treasure that had been hidden. As I look upon this midrash, I'm struck by the fact that we realize here that something that seems to be a curse at the beginning, one's home being afflicted with mold as a punishment, on the surface at least, turns out to be a blessing, for there's treasure buried within the walls itself. And I take away from this the following thought, that each moment in our lives is filled with possibility, and that while something may be a curse, the next moment offers the promise and possibility of a blessing. And likewise, there are some things that seem like blessings, which the next moment might turn out to be something less than positive. And from this we can take away that each moment of our life is a moment of possibility. Irrespective of what has gone on before, the next moment offers us a full range of different options, of choices that we can make to live and engage in decisions that bring as much sanctity and holiness and sacredness into our lives. This parsha and this particular teaching reminds us of the possibility that resides at the heart of every single moment. Let's make sure that we make use of that possibility. And that, my friends, is your Torah in 2.